Okay, I think we got this finally. Okay, just want to make sure it sounds good. I do have that sound. And I'd like to welcome you all to my first impressions of Wurm Unlimited. It took us a while to figure some things out. One of the first things you're going to figure out is it's a little bit old school in the sense of how you do things. WASD, but notice how my mouse moves, so I have to hold down my left mouse to make turns. Well, what you want to do is you want to really look at your settings, and you got to go to keybinds, and keybinds a little bit once again different, but you're looking at toggle free look mouse. That way I hit spacebar, I can use my mouse to look around, hit spacebar to interact with the environment. Now, here's an interesting thing about this is, notice you cannot just type. I can't type A. But if I happen to choose A, it's going to tell me that it's already bound to something. That is useful since you have all these different keybinds. So I just wanted to, so you understood what was happening there. You also may want to bind a few keys so that you can open and close things easier. So basically, what is Wurm Unlimited? Wurm Unlimited is kind of a open world sandbox style game. You can do PvE or PvP. I have not done the PvP, but in the PvE, you spend a lot of times doing repetitive tasks. Oh, I don't. Hold on. I gotta check something real quick. Ah, that's why. Okay. Okay, yeah. So you get a lot of these repetitive tasks to do. So you can basically stake out your own piece of little property, which my little group I have with me, we have. So when you cross here, you notice down in this corner, tells me when I enter and leave Pod Town. Our property goes pretty much down there and somewhere out in this field. We haven't really done much. So what you do is you start with absolutely nothing but some training tools, training leather. I'm gonna open up this. Yeah, you start with a training sword. It's good quality, it's 50. And you have a shield, which is 30. Those are real good qualities to start out with when you have nothing. You start out with some leather, everything, but notice there's no marker right here. That we will get to, so you will understand. So when you start out, you have nothing pretty much, and you got to start. And what you do is you go out in the wilderness and you chop some trees. So we're just going to go over here and chop a few trees, these cherry trees that keep cropping up. So you get to the area and you click in the square. Now you notice that you can do track, forage, and botanize. But you want to cut. So you'd open up your inventory and you just kind of grab your hatchet, and now you got an option to cut. But I recommend, if you already have a sickle, just move that from my backpack, you check to see if you can pick a sprout. It's a cherry tree. I'm not going to do that, but that's normally what I would do. So here, harvest. Is it cherry tree already season? Oh, it is. Wow. Cherry trees. I knew they were going to come in season, I just didn't know when. That's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and chop it down because we got tons of them. So you just do one of the actions. So you got one queue, takes however long it is. Now you're not going to do anything. And everything you do affects your skills. That one action will then begin to affect your skills. So up here you see wood cutting. So when I cut, it gives me a little more. It gives me 0.1 a skill in it. And those logs will just sit right there until I decide to do something with it. The whole key is you want to get your skills, all of these. Some are just, they're just, you know, it goes on. You look at those skills, you want to get them up to 100. Then you can do things that are better. For example, if I press B to open up my crafting window, when you start, you have 3 action queues, meaning I can queue up, be doing one action and queuing 2 others right behind it. I have worked hard and I've now gotten to 4. You get to 4 when your mind logic skill, mind, is over 30. I'll get another one when I'm over 40, and another one when I'm 50s, and so on. So once again, you start in the middle of nowhere. I'm just going to go hop on my horse. Actually, and you have to level the ground. So I got a tent. Okay, so blah, I can speak. Where the heck is my horse? Did he run away? Or did I just pass him? There's my horse. I put stirrups, horseshoes, and a barding on him to make it seem like I was, you know, just a wonderful guy here. Okay. So I'm just going to go out in the middle of nowhere. Huh, meditation rug. Someone's been doing something. So I'm paying attention to when I leave. Oh, I've left Pod Town. So backing up until I get to entered Pod Town. Okay. So basically, I will dismount here. No? Oh, I entered. Okay. Pod Town? No Pod Town. Okay, so let's say I'm here and I decide I want to do something. Well, I might be able to pitch my tent right here. So we're going to go ahead, right click on it, and we're going to place it. I'm not allowed to put a tent here. Doesn't tell me why. So I travel off and I go, oh, here's a good spot. I'm going to put my tent here. Oh, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. You see part of the lands of Wurm. This is within the perimeter of Pod Town. So well, we go out. We go over here, and you keep doing that until you find something. Even though I'm not. So I or I can double click. So this looks like a good place to put my tent. So I click on that. I go to place. There's my tent. And you try to double click. And it says, oh, I'm too far away. This is some of the frustration you'll go through. So you place it on there. There's my tent. Tents can be open, closed. You can put some items in tents. That's the inventory when you open. You can move it by pushing and pulling. You don't really have to do that, but you could. All you have to do is pick it up and place again. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when you go over the hill. Now I'm losing food right here. This will be the confusing thing. Oh, when trying to climb, you might have to hit Z, which will light up this, to climb steeper hills. And it gets frustrating when you don't know how. So you go out in the wilderness and you go, wow. I wonder what areas are out here. So you can see almost any place you can go to. Those are mine entrances. We'll get to that. So I'm just going to go down the other side. And notice you run fast. If you run too fast, you will hurt yourself. Good cedar, good walnut. I happen to have other tools I purchased, but you start with an axe, a carving knife, a shovel, and a pick. Those are and a hammer, a mallet. No, you don't even start with a mallet. So what you do is we will find a location to go ahead and we're going to set up camp. We're going to set up camp right here. So the reason you want to put down your tent is the tent then gives you a place to respawn instead of having to respawn. Right there. There's my tent. So you're saying, well, what can you do? Well, if you wanted to build something, you need a mallet. So let's go ahead and figure out how to make a mallet. So we open up N for crafting recipes. If you open up B, your crafting table, so to speak, right here in the lower corner, crafting recipes. These are all the things you can build, and it's a lot. So this is how it goes. I want to build a little shack right here. That's all I'm going to do is build a little shack right here. So I need to know how to make a mallet. So I'm going to click on mallet. It says I need a shaft and a mallet head. Okay. And also, I need a shaft and mallet head. But why do I want a mallet? Well, that's when you go to Wurmpedia. Wurmpedia is like the game manual, and it's huge. So you just right-click on it, click on that. It will pop it up on a web browser for you, and you can see it. I'm not sure I can show it to you, but I will give it one heck of a shot. I'm going to add display capture. Okay, so here's the Wurmpedia. We're going to go ahead and close those. It's Wurmpedia. Voila. Here it is. It tells you mallet are used to construct building, fences, walls. So what you would do is like, oh, I really want to create a building. Well, how do I do that? Well, you got to just figure out what parts of the buildings are. So say building. And it's like, well, house, general. That's good. Voila. So you spend a lot of time here until you figure out what's happening. So I just wanted you to know that. So now we're going back to the game. And so we're going to know how to make a shaft. So there are different types of shafts. Shafts from logs, shafts from branches. And you're like, well, where do I get a branch? Well, if you weren't around any trees, which I don't see how, but if you weren't, you forage. You click on something, and you botanize or forage. So you keep doing this until it looks clean, looks clean. You keep doing that until you find a branch. But I really don't need any of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply chop down a tree. We're going to go from a log, because you generally can find trees. So I will chop down this. Well, cherry trees just give you logs. But if I were to chop down this walnut tree, you're going to see something different. Smaller the tree, you only get logs. But when it does that, that becomes a felled tree. Felled trees have to be chopped up. So once again, we just sit here and we chop. Now, here's a thing that kind of, if it's one item, it tends to be what look like the basic of that item. So that's a log. And in that log pile, if we were to open it up right here, we are going to see we have walnut logs. The quality determines the quality of items that you make from it. The weight determines what you can build with it. So the 24s, those are real good. This one, that's a piece of junk. So now if I took this log, and I'll take it, right here it's at 2, says it's 2, so I'll pick it up. If you're unsure about anything, you can always right click to examine it, and it will tell you what it's good for. So I'm going to show you. I am going to open this and we just drag it right on in. Now notice nothing's changed with it. It's still a log pile, looks like a log. Stumps you can remove if you really wanted to, but they will go away on their own. So I'm just going to open this up and take with it. We'll take these 2 logs. Their weight's not heavy, only 8. So we need a shaft. So we'll open it up, and we need a shaft. Now we'll take the smallest log, put it in our window, and I believe it's a hatchet. No, that makes a beam. Beams are used for walls. We're looking for a carving knife. I happen to have satchels, no big deal, which will have my carving knife in it. These are all the items I'm now allowed to make with my carving knife. I've gotten skill to this point. Word of caution. Shaft, staff. I started in the beginning, kept making staffs and couldn't figure out why I couldn't complete something that needed a shaft. Shafts are construction material, staffs are weapon. So we're going to go ahead and create. Now I want to bring your attention to one more item because it's important. We have the walnut log. Weight 2.67. So I'm going to craft. Now I want you to notice that's weight 1, but it took 2 pounds or 2 weight off of that log, and now that log is weighing 0.67. So, not super useful, but I'm going to go ahead and throw that in over there. So here you go. So now we have a shaft and we need a mallet. So we need a mallet head. Well, once again, you're going, well, what's a mallet? Mallet head. Go back down here, click. I'm going to give you another great tip. Totally forgot about it. So I'm in mouse look mode. I hit N to create something. Now, how do I get out? I'm typing. Escape doesn't work. Nothing. Just hit enter. And you can now get out of the mouse look mode. So we are looking for a mallet. Okay, so we got that, and we're looking for a mallet head. Oh, we'll double click on that. Oh, mallet heads can be made with, a shaft and a crude. So, well, we got a shaft. Can we use it? And it's like, oh, sure. These are the things I can make with that. So I'll go ahead and build the mallet head. Now these cannot be improved. You can tell because there's no other item here. For example, the saw can be improved, and it needs an iron nugget. Iron nugget. You'll learn what these things are. This is a polishing polishing pelt. So if you're confused, you once again examine it, and it's going to tell you a kind of small hand scythe with a crescent move formed a blade. You need to polish it with a pelt. And that's where you go to Wurmpedia, look up pelt, see what animals give pelt, and then go find that animal. Now I've made the mallet. It weighs 20. The shaft has been reduced in weight to 80. Sometimes that's a problem, because this may need a more heavier shaft. So I go and like, oh, it didn't work. I'm clicking, it's not working. Once again, you got to read over here. And it says clearly, the shaft and the mallet head contain too little material. You need to find larger parts. So those are not, one of those is not very good material part, doesn't weigh enough. So once again, I keep saying once again, that's stupid. What you're going to need to do is take that, a new log or branch if you have one. Where's my crafting? Oh, I didn't take it out. My carving knife. And I'm going to make a new shaft. Now, just so you know, that could just be the sound. Just so you know, dang, gotta stop that. Anyway, stop that. The howling wolf, I don't believe is an animal. I just think it's an ambient sound, like the owl. So I don't really need to worry about wolves. Well, I do, but not from that. So now I got a new shaft. So now I'll put the shaft over here, and I'll put the mallet head over here. Says again, I can create. So I need a shaft of at least one weight. Now I got a rare mallet. Exactly what that means, I'm not exactly sure. But it's a pretty good quality. It's 44. The quality is between 1 or a little less than 1 to 100. So the hammer, thick head, entirely made of wood, normally used to bonk other wood things together. This is a very rare and interesting version of the item. I don't know what that means. That's the first time that's ever happened. It is made of walnut and can be improved with a log. Oh, well, I do have a log. Well, this quality generally means if your quality of your log is higher than the quality of the item requiring the log, it should be able to improve it. So I double click to activate. Everything in your inventory, if you want to use it on something, you have to double click to activate. So I double click to activate, then I right click on the item I want to use it on, and then I click improve. So right now I'm going through the improvement of it. It says, wow, I improved it. So if I want to look at it again, I can right click on it, examine it. See, now notice that it's where it said before, this is a very rare version. You can barely make out that I did it. Sometimes it will say that you can make it out. You notice some notches. And so you will take your carving knife, double click on it, and carve. So it's going ahead and carve. The quality of your tool matters on whether or not you can get success versus failure. But if it's a quality 1, it can still upgrade a quality 50 item. Just your bad deals with chances. So I need a file now. See how that all goes? So what I'll generally do is, because I have a backpack, I open up my backpack. I put the item into my backpack, and then I will deal with clicking on these items. And here's a trick. I've mapped it out so the following keys can be used. F, G, T, they can be used. So what I mean by that, you right click on this, you find the thing that you're going to keep doing. Right click on it. It's going to be file. I'm going to hold down my G. And that remaps it right then and there. It's been remapped for that purpose. That's why I know those keys are free. I can keep changing them. They change them in the file right there. So if I changed it to an A, my A would be unmapped. So make sure you know what keys you're using for that. So we go ahead. So then you would make sure that's double click, then I just highlight and I hit G. Voila. And you continue doing that until you don't have to anymore. So we kind of know how to, so we got started. But we're like, gee, I really wanted my house. It's getting pretty scary out here. No problem. Oh, I didn't mean, no, my hammer's fine because that's in my backpack. So on one of the items that you put on in the beginning is your tool belt. You can drag an item to your tool belt. It is not saved. So if I go away from that, come back, it's gone. So if you wanted to save it, you would have to right click on your tool belt somewhere and save tool belt. What nice thing is you can change tool belt. I can change this to write this and say, oh, I want to save this to tool belt 6. I want to load tool belt 6. You know, it's just really nice. I haven't tried to make a bigger tool belt yet. So, and now with hotkeys that you set up, default should be control. This is 1 and this is 2. Voila. Now if I right click, I can plan a building. But it says the ground isn't flat enough. Oh, wow. That's a thing that gets to you. So you would start digging. But I'll tell you, nope. You don't dig out tiles. You see how the tile? This tile has 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. You dig out corners, not tiles. When the corner's lower, everything, as the corner's lower, it will get level. So once again, what would you need to dig? A shovel. So we got that. So let's go in here and figure out what we're looking for. So you want to activate your shovel, double clicking on it. Now my shovel's active. The reason you want to activate your shovel, notice I got to have all these options. Let's activate, say, my rake. I now have these options. Activate my saw. I only have these options. So you see, based upon the tool that you have activated, and you can know, because down in the lower portion of your inventory, it's going to tell you which one you do have activated. You'll get different options down there. Oh, forgot to also tell you, you can move these anywhere. I move them here. I like my current setup. I have to figure. You just have to play with it to figure out what you want. So, boom. There we go. We can pack. We can dig. We can flatten. And you go, oh, I'll go flatten. Well, sometimes that will work. I'm going to show you why it will sometimes work. So here I am sitting here and I go, I'm going to flatten. So it says I start flattening the ground. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. And this bar's going and stuff is happening. Dirt's changing, but I don't know what's happening. So you look, and this ground is flat. Yay! But that's not always the case. So I'm going to try to find, this would be a very good example. I'm standing on this flat ground because it's easier to say, hey, I want to bring this flat ground that I'm on. I want to make sure I want to level this. So that's leveling. So I hit 6. It says I start to level. And then nothing happened. It says if he carried some dirt, it would come and use to fill 2 corners that need it. What? That makes no sense. Well, it does. Once again, you dig corners. So we're going to go, and we're right here. This is flat. This is flat. But this isn't flat. So we're going to go in here and look. The way you tell what you're going to need to do is you got to look at the borders. These slope up. If I go over here, this one slopes down, this one slopes up. Huh. So what does that mean? Well, let's take one that's obvious. This slopes up. Well, let's turn around. Slopes down. If it slopes down, you need to fill. If it slopes up, you need to remove. So we're here. And if we want to make sure that these guys are level, we're going to need to fill in dirt right there. Well, that's going to be a little tricky. Yes and no. So we'll go here. That slopes up 4, slopes up 2. So we're going to at least need to dig twice. So if you click dig 2 times, you're going to see, oh, it slopes down. I did something wrong. Duh. But that's good. Oh no, we did fine. We dug 2 down. But notice I'm moving slower because the dirt goes in your inventory. Now if I went, oh gee, you're stuck with this dirt in your inventory. Never do this unless you plan on it. You just go into your tile and go, oh, I just want to drop those on the ground. Now my tile that I was in is no longer flat. Basically what it did is it looked to the closest corner you were at and added the dirt to it. So those slope down. Those slope down by 2. So we'll go ahead and dig. Dig. Boom, slopes down by 1. And we dig. Now we're flat again. So we are sloping down and sloping up. It does make an interesting problem. Because if I want that to be level, wouldn't I have to dig 4 times? Well, now notice I'm just filling up with dirt. Well, that kind of sucks. That's flat. But now that slopes up. Oh, this is confusing. And it is. But before we can all of a sudden no longer move because we have too much dirt, if you have dirt in your inventory, the way you want to drop it is you click the dirt, right-click on the dirt, and you want to drop it as a pile. This creates a pile of dirt. Much nicer than it changing the layout. So what are we looking at? But it slopes down 4, but we just fixed that. Yep. That's why you got to figure out what your level needs to be. Because it starts to get a little confusing, and sometimes you got to play at it. So once again, we're just going to take this dirt and take this dirt. There we go. And I am now going to select 4 dirt, right click on it, and drop on the ground. Now we're level again, but we're still having issues here. So we're just going to pick a corner. And when you're unsure, you just basically dig once. Take a note of your sides. You say, hey, it slopes down 2 and 4. 2, 4. So I'm going to dig. Hey, slopes down. Oh, okay, so I will dig one more time. And that one's flat, but that one slopes down. Huh. Oh, maybe I can do something in this corner. So we crawl over to this corner. So this says 2. So we'll select 2. We will right click on it, drop on the ground. Oh, now it's flat. But this slopes down 4. And this is how you have to do it. You start chasing the way it's set up. And now we'll go here and we will drop on the ground. Now we're sloping up. And that's kind of just how you do it. It's just you keep playing at it until it gets right. Now like right now I'm out of dirt. So I will have to go dig dirt somewhere to get this to be right. Well, that's what we do then. But here's a great tip. So I'm going to hit escape and go into settings. Terraform. Find a key you can use. I use L to dig to pile. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will now hit that key. 2, 3, 4. Notice it's not going in my inventory. It's just going on the ground. And this is what the gameplay is like. It's slow. It is can be tedious. Everything on the ground, if you take an examination of it. In this case, we can also open it because it's large enough. This will start to take damage, and when it reaches 100, it goes away. It's not fast. It happens over a couple of days. No damage. That's why you want to put things in containers, proper containers. So when an item's one type of item, so as you see, we have dirt, we have logs. You can tell, but I'm going to take a piece of dirt, just one. And now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drop that dirt into this pile. This is what's known as a mixed pile. It tells you what originally it was, a pile of walnut logs, but now you know you have something else in it other than logs because it looks like this. But this also will decay. So once again, we're here. We wanted to, we got the flat. Remember, we wanted to build a little house, so you would right-click on, double activate your mallet, right-click on this, and you would plan a building. Voila. This house is now planned. And you try to figure out, so I can finalize the building plan. Building has been finalized. Or I can once again right click on it and say, I don't want to build it. And it warns me, are you sure you really want to? I say, yeah, just demolish it. And it goes away. But literally, you just keep adding on. If you leveled, you just keep adding to the plan and finalizing it. Plan the building. There you go. We'll just add one square. Plan the building. Oh, it's not flat enough. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Now, the only dirt that you can use, not the stuff on the ground, you can only use the dirt that's in your inventory when you try to level. So it's not so bad. So that's pretty much the basics. What you're going to be doing is digging, leveling, mining, and chopping down trees until something happens. Sorry, I had to deal with my dog. So you're just going to keep doing that. And then you start to add to the building. So I'm like, okay, so I finalized this building. I want to build a wooden door. So I hit that, and it says, oh, nothing happened. Well, yeah. You need a plank, and you need a large iron nail. Oh, well, that's how it goes. That's how life is. I wish it was different, but it's not. So we're going to go ahead and leave that and head back home, so to speak. Well, there is an auto walk. I have mine mapped to X because I played Division 2. And when you can no longer climb, I'm going to climb up to that tall point. See, that's 36. See, I can't go up anymore. What? That's when you, as I said, you have to activate the climb. Now I'm climbing up, but my stamina is going down. Green. When I turn it off, I fall back down. Oh, yes. And when you plan a building outside your area that you've claimed with a deed, it is fair game for other people. You do not need a deed, but any building, if they can break into it, it is fair game. So I'm going up and over. There's the house we built. And my horse is right there. There's no sprinting. It's all based upon the weight you're carrying, how much stamina, food, and water. Okay, so let's green outline means it's friendly. The nice thing about horses is they don't get necessarily slowed by terrain. I just wanted my horse to look good, that's why I did this. But it weighs him down, and all weight changes your movement speed. Checking my saddlebags, nothing in them, that's good. And I'm going to disembark. So once we said we needed a large nails and I can speak. Planks. Tool belts allow you to activate tools pretty easy. Here I'm going to create kindling because I'm beginning to starve. I just should have food in here. Let's just check. A human meal. Notice damage. 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 So these things begin to damage over time. So, and eventually when that reaches 100, that will be no good. You can see what it is by clicking, putting your mouse over, clicking on it, and then hitting one. Oh, that's an oven. It's not really helping me. Yeah, you would actually have to right click on it and examine it. It says your day starts with this. Whatever it is, cannot be improved. This is a medium nutritional value. And if I examine this, poor nutritional value. So I got a lot of it, but it's really poor, so not good. So once again, in your inventory, you're going to have, you're given one really important thing. Do not lose it. Steel and flint. When you have kindle and you're facing an oven, you just need to activate your steel and flint, click on the item, the oven, the forge that you wish to light, and light. When you first start out, all you can do is really do a campfire. It's not hard to make an oven, so I suggest you get on that right away. So now that it's there and it's beginning to burn, you're gonna, anytime you want to do it, you click on the oven. Anytime you want to see what's happening, click on the oven and you look, examine it, then you read. It says the fire is starting to fade. What can you do? Well, I have wood scraps, so I activate one, and this changes, allows me to feed the fire. So I feed the fire, and I'll hit one again, and it'll say, "Oh, it's still starting to fade. That wasn't good enough. I'll do another one." Boom. Oh, there's still unburnt material. Whew. That's good. Now, if you have an oven or any cooking implement, campfire, this, voila, that's very important, because what it's going to give you when you mouse over, it's going to tell you it's very warm. You want them hot. And I can eat it straight from here. All food gives you little insights on how to do something. I'm assuming the better food is gonna last longer, because most of this is really quick to go away. So I ate this nutritional human meal. Human. It's good for you. So I'm watching my nutritional value to go up. I'm watching my food go up. If your food goes down to 0, it will pump up all the way, and you'll lose nutrition. The reason you want to keep your nutrition up is you get a bonus for every 10 points of nutrition over 50. So, yeah. That's important. I got another piece of breakfast I'm going to eat. That one gives me dairy making. Notice stuff doesn't go up pretty quickly. Because remember, I got a little problem here with this being, they're not fully weighted much. I'm just trying to get food. And always check your fire. Oh, it's starting to fade. And that's when I'm going to just throw in a log. So after I'm done eating, I'll be able to throw this log in. Remember, once again, you can only do one item. If you want to interrupt an item, you hit escape. An item. One action, you hit escape. I'm still not getting there. All that's left is this poor quality food. I sure have. It's just not poor nutritional value, but it's going to fill me up, and that's one of the important things. Now notice, look what happened to my nutrition. Nutrition went down. That's because I'm eating poor quality nutritional food, so it's going to go down. Medium quality takes us up to about 75. Poor, so I lost, I guess, like 5% to my skills by eating this vegetable stew. So it's not really worth it. So what I do now is my next thing is open up my food storage bin. Gotta make one of those. Once again, everything rots. So the simplest way for me to make food is go ahead and I'm going to open up my pottery bowl. I'm going to drag 1, type 1, hit enter, and drag, boom. I'm going to say give us 5. I'm going to put 5 carrots in there. And then I'm going to do again with the bear meat, boom. You just hit enter, and that's going to take as many as you can. In this case, there's only 1 left. And I'm going to boom. I'm going to put 5. You can click on that. Voila. That stuff is now cooking. Got a lot of insect meat. Seafood. Some human meat. Human. We got a saucepan, frying pan, so I could like take that, drag it there. 1. Drag it there, 1. And then I'm going to add 1 pumpkin. And you're probably saying, well, how do I know what I'm doing? Down here, I hit cooking. I search recipes. You can search recipes. Or you can do what any good cook does. Throw it in and see what comes out. But when you start, you're just going to put meat on a campfire, and it's just going to eventually cook. That's just how it goes. So I'll make sure your fire's still going well. So it burns with wild flames. Yeah. So now I'm going to look. Oh, that hasn't gone. Oh, that hasn't gone. Question. Oh, there it went. Quality 20. But it's 2.8. Woo! That's like that seems like a lot of good food right there. 2.8. See what it is it's trying to get everything to the right temperature. Once it's the right temperature, you'll notice that I'm losing water. Ooh, another 2.8. I'm just like nailing this whole stuff. And in case you care, we hit K. The green stuff is what's changed for the positive over a certain period of time since you last looked. Oh, hot food cooking. Ooh, I'm getting up there. I've now got a meat, human meat, and the pumpkin. Oh, they haven't gone. Oh, well, yeah. Remember, my nutrition went down because of what I chose to eat. Wow, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. I threw a pumpkin in. Yeah. But imagine I put 2 pumpkins in there. I bet you it'd be like 260. For 5 carrots, how much did I get? 280. 2 pumpkins, and that's a lot. So let's just see. Let's just take a piece of human meat. See, that's the beauty of this. We take a piece of human meat. We can drag those out because they really doesn't really matter. Boom. We say 1. And we'll do another one. We'll say 1. And then we'll drag in 1 carrot. And we'll see if cabbage makes a difference. So we'll drag in 1 cabbage. Now all this can be found by foraging. The quality of the food is really based upon the quality of the ingredients going in, as well as the frying pan. How much it affects it, I really don't know. So I got a human meal and breakfast. They're hot. If it goes over hot, then you gotta wait for it to cool. Let's check to see if we're still going. Fire is starting to fade. Oh, that's not good. We don't have any more stuff. If it fades before we're done cooking, what can we do? So I just happen to know where there's some stuff. I'm just gonna run and grab one. Open. Wood scraps. Give me 5. Okay, as many as I can. There's only 2, that's fine. Now some items, like wood scraps, can be combined. So I hit B. I'll shove it onto here. Shove the whole thing from the 2 onto there. Click the combine button. Voila, it's combined. I will activate it. I will now click on the stove and I will now put it into burn. Once again, we will look. Oh, it still has much unburnt material. Ooh, we did save it. So I'm opening it up. This wool stuff constantly changes. Other stuff changes. And we'll open these. We got a human meal. Well, that's only 130. Based on our other human meal. Oh, that doesn't make sense. I thought it's kind of weird sometimes. Some things don't make sense. Pumpkin's supposed to really fill you up. But obviously, it's not. Because I did have one that weighed a ton when I cooked it, but the rules that I thought applied don't seem to apply like I think. So I need water. You can find any water source. Go in there, click the square, and you just drink the water. Some water says it's salty, but you know, what do I know? I drink it. I don't suffer any ill effects, so those are good. Well, let's open this again. I want to see if the human meal's of good nutritional value? Oh, they're both good nutritional values. Huh. Interesting. Why is my thing upside down? Did I rotate it? Can you rotate it? And how long has it been upside down? What the hell's happening? Okay, let's try something here. I'm going to capture a specific window. And the window is going to be this one. I'm going to say okay. I'm now going to hide this. I don't know how that other one got flipped, but I will find out. So you just sit there and things aren't as hard to make as you think. Or how hard to tame. But you got to pay attention on things. So when you right click on it, you do get certain sections. I found out when I was needing lye that if I have my shovel, I right click, I now got the option to clean. When I clean it, I'll get ash. Ash and water are used to make lye. Lye is used to tan leather, I believe. And it depends on how much ash is in there. So I try to clean it out before I use it all the time, thinking I'm maximizing my ash. Because now I'll right click on it, it doesn't need clean anymore. You can just drag items straight to that location. So my next one is actually going to be showing, so it's very much of a grind. It's a very slow paced game. Notice I haven't killed anything. But that's how it is. So when I do this next time, I'm going to show you how it is from the very beginning to now. Skills, inventory, Valerie map, console settings, HUD settings. That's important. You got a journal. That's J. So we're going to go from the journal and then try to do all those things so that you can see just how quickly it is and how what you're going to have to do to get it all together. And we'll start by placing our tent, leveling, putting our building down. 1 square is not a very huge building. Beds are important because they give you sleep bonuses. It is just, this is how it works. So we're going to go ahead and show you from the beginning. But this is just the first impression. It's a grind. If you're not into the grind, don't do it, because you start with low skills and you got to work it up, and it's a huge grind to get that way. So you guys all take care. I'm going to sleep, and when I do sleep, just so you know, I click on it, I hit 2 to sleep. The second I say, oh yes, it will log me out of the game. I am out of the game. There's no way going back. You always got to go back to the server select, and that's just how it works. So you all have